All right, welcome back in Newswire here on the SportsGrid Network on this Monday now, July the 15th, and we've got certainly a few very interesting headlines from over the last week or so regarding the expansion of gambling here, and with maybe one of the all-time greatest franchises across professional sports. And we welcome in our good friend Mike Mazzeo here of the Legal Sports Report to kind of shed some light on this story here, Mike, regarding the partnership possibly of MGM Resorts and the New York Yankees. What's going on with this?
Joe, thanks so much for having me here. MGM Resorts and the Yankees have a partnership. It's centered around MGM Resorts' Empire City Casino property in Yonkers. As we know, that has long been considered one of the favorites to get one of the three downstate New York casino licenses. It's currently a video lottery terminal. They hope to turn it into a full-scale casino. That process has taken, I think, longer than everybody expected, still maybe a year or two away from it all settling down. But this is a partnership where Empire City Casino will have, some signage at Yankee Stadium during games, and then some broadcast visibility as well at select home games. The Yankees broadcast on Yes Network. So again, they have grand ambitions, MGM, of trying to get into the New York market in a bigger way than they are now. Yankees are obviously one of the most iconic franchises, one of the most historic franchises in sports. So a partnership that probably makes sense for both sides. I think they're going to also offer some fan experiences from BetMGM Rewards members through Yankees games. I think somebody said throwing out the first pitch at one of the games and potentially watching batting practice as well. So a partnership we've seen before. The Yankees have 3 sportsbook partnerships: FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet365. So they're certainly very invested, like a lot of other North American professional sports teams, in sportsbook partnerships. Now adding a casino partnership. Empire City also has signage at Citi Field with the Mets. So they've got grand ambitions, and we'll see how that partnership kind of shakes out, Joe, in terms of if MGM does get the full-scale casino, how much the Yankees will be involved. I believe some Yankee players will be headed over to that casino to, greet fans and stuff like that. So a partnership they, hope will be for the long haul, and potentially even more things to come for MGM with their bid here in New York for a full-scale casino.
So the partnerships the Yankees have had already are, I'm guessing, are non-exclusive, right? Is this with MGM going to be totally exclusive, and we won't be talking about any other books associated with the Yankees?
No, I mean the sportsbook ones, right? FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet365, those are multi-year deals. They're still active. And so this will be a casino partnership activation. You see, when you go to a Yankees game, you see the FanDuel signage, you see DraftKings, you see Bet365, right. And then on the Yes Network broadcast, those books are mentioned. So I would assume that would be the same case here with MGM Empire City.
Yeah, exclusive. I can't, not with the Yankees. We have another very interesting story as well that came up regarding the Fanatics Sportsbook in Massachusetts. We've got some fines and investigations going on. What is this all about, centering around college sports?
Yeah, Joe. So a $2 parlay, 5-leg parlay on college sports featuring a prohibited game in Massachusetts. You can't bet on in-state college teams in a non-tournament event. So a 5-leg $2 parlay turns into a $15,000 fine. The IEB looked into it, and the Gaming Commission agreed with the IEB's fine of recommendation of $15,000. Fanatics had a similar fine, $10,000, for allowing a $50 college bowl bet on Boston College. They wiped out both bets before they were settled, but still had to pay $25,000. So, if you're a sportsbook out there, be very careful with what you're offering. They're certainly not the only sportsbook in Massachusetts that has been docked for this, Joe. All the 3 in-person sportsbooks at their casinos also got docked. I think $50,000 combined. I think it was 2023 for various in-state colleges' prohibited bets they offered. So this is not a problem that should be happening, but has happened with other sportsbooks. And now, Fanatics takes $52 in bets and pays out $25,000 in fines. So again, probably a sport is not going away. A lot of, state regulators set rules, and they want sportsbooks to follow them. And if you don't, you've got to pay a hefty fine. But certainly, Fanatics and others make way more than $25,000 in the state. So probably not that big for them, but something that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gaffe with the the laws being the laws and the rules being the rules there for Fanatics. But I don't think they'll make that mistake again, Mike. I think that is for sure. We also are hearing about an interview that Rob Manfred did with the Dallas Morning News, where he talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling. What did you take away from this interview with him?
Yeah, Joe, I think it was just surprising. He said gambling's been happening before, and now we're able to catch it. It wasn't really happening back then, but you look at the names, right? Like you talked about before our segment, Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Black Sox scandal in 1919. So this stuff's been happening. They feel like they're better equipped to catch it now. Whether they should have gotten a financial relationship with the sports books, I mean, you could ask the same question of the NBA, NFL, NHL, all the major sports leagues, should they have done this. But it's here now, and so integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year. Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, the four minor league players besides Mercano that got hit. So, it goes down the list. We saw Jonte Porter just plead guilty, right, to wire fraud charges in the NBA. He's been banned for life. So this stuff is not going anywhere, unfortunately, and you hope that it's not a bigger team-wide event, which could potentially take down the entire industry, but certainly something MLB continues to monitor. Education, very key there. And I think, it's something that these leagues have to deal with. They hope it doesn't happen. And then I think the other thing Manfred said was he doesn't expect federal oversight. Whether we get these huge scandals and that changes, we'll see. But he said, states are making a ton of money on this, and given the political climate, doesn't think federal oversight's coming anytime soon. But we've seen Senator Blumenthal, Tonko. There's a lot of federal legislators that have taken an interest in this, whether it's, college betting and, Charlie Baker trying to get rid of prop betting with college athletes. But, this is a hot button topic that, isn't going anywhere, and baseball's got to deal with it. And you kind of reap what you sow, right? They, are allowing legalized gambling. They have relationships, as the Yankees have, with the three sports books. They're not the only team that has that. And again, you want to, nip these in the bud, all these gambling scandals. So education is key, and you hope there's not that one guy out there of the, over 750 active players, coaches, GMs, execs, down to the team masseuse or the interpreter. In Shohei Ohtani's case, you hope everybody knows not to do this and don't want to make a bad example with the government looking over everything.
And they've done a pretty good job of that, right? I mean, that was always the biggest fear, was the integrity of the game. And that's always going to come above anything else or anyone else, which is what made the Shohei Ohtani situation just so crazy, because, one of your biggest stars, you can't have any integrity issues, right, with Major League Baseball. And they've done a pretty good job to this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, it feels like it's one name after the other. They really had that streak. They had an umpire. They had an interpreter. They had a active MLB player. They had minor league players. I mean, it never ends, and you hope it's not to the Ohtani level. NFL had it with Calvin Ridley. He was a pretty big star player, served a suspension, came back, was a productive player, and hopefully won't do this again. So, yeah, education key, Joe, and, you want to make sure your fans, when they're betting on these games, know they're not rigged, and that's something that, the leagues have to deal with given their financial relationships.
Absolutely correct. A lot of money at stake, and I think everyone has done a pretty good job of policing this. And self-responsibility is a pretty good thing here when it comes to professional athletes. Mike, I appreciate it as always, my friend. Enjoy the week here. Of course, we'll talk more with when it comes to everything to do with the Legal Sports Report here on Newswire.